Hey guys, we're looking for some more topics to discuss. So if you have any suggestions, you want something that there's something you want us to talk about, either leave a comment below, or you can also inbox us as well. And now I want everybody to see the wonderful and beautiful intro that Amethyst Moon made for me. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy it. So the topic for this week is, who do witches worship? So witches worship the devil. No, for the most part they don't. But there are actually some that do, and I will get into that a little bit later. So first I wanted to talk about the definition of worship. The definition, according to the dictionary, is a feeling or expression of reverence and adoration for a deity or ancestor worship, and also to honor with religious rites. So in order to worship, you can set up your altar, you can do your prayers, you can do an actual ritual, you can do offerings. There's many different ways to worship. So the question is, who do witches worship? But I want to go into the how and the why a little bit too. Um, Witches worship the earth, the gods, the goddesses, the orishas, the loa, the fairies, the ancestors, the angels, the demons. The list goes on and on. It's basically whoever you work with and who you connect with. And I know a lot of people do not believe, a lot of pagans do not believe in the Christian devil, and that is what they believe. I personally do believe that Satan and Lucifer are real deities, and people do work with them and they do worship them. And since a lot of those people do magic, they are witches as well. So I will say witches do work with Satan and Lucifer and demons and stuff like that. If we can work with the angels, why can't we work with the demons? Be very careful. I've not something I'm ever interested in or going to do, but I am aware that people do it and it works for them, and that's awesome. Just with any deity, do your research. So worship is very important because it helps you to connect with spirit and connect with higher power and whoever it is that you work with. It strengthens yourself and your relationship with your deity. The more you work with them, the more they're going to help you also. It's like a friend, you communicate with your friend and you talk with your friend, and when you need help, and then you go to them and they're going to help you because you have this relationship going on. There are many ways to actually to worship. The most common is setting up an altar, and the altar is very personal. It is something between you and your deity. It's stuff that connects with you, and it's stuff that connects you to them. So the first thing I would suggest is doing the mythology, reading the mythology, which you should be doing anyway if you want to work with somebody. Find out their likes and their dislikes. Also communicate with them as well. When I first set up everything, I was insistent on putting flowers up. I needed flowers. I love flowers. I needed them on my altar. My children know that when we go to the store and I start looking at flowers, I always get 2 bunches of flowers, and they actually usually help me, and they'll pick them out for me sometimes, which I let them do. It's not an issue of what kind or what type. It's just the fact that they're there. So I would put them on my altar. Went from a god and goddess altar to a Hecate altar, and the flowers, I noticed, did not last as long when they were on Hecate's altar. So we made a compromise, and now I actually have fake black roses on her altar, and they are something that I personally associate with her. Um, Freya loves her flowers, and they are always the ones that are behind me because her altar, her space is right above my head, actually, on the wall. Um, so of course your altar is also going to be the space that you have. I believe I covered that a little bit in my last video. She is in a square shelf with all her stuff, and there's a candle holder, an incense holder, and a picture, and a couple other things. So it depends on how much space you have. Sometimes you see things and you know you need to have them, and you may not know why, For example, my skull candles that you can see in the picture in my introduction, I bought them right after Halloween just because they were 50% off and I thought they were cool. I held on to them until May when I did the Rite of Her Sacred Fires, and I had used them for that altar, and that is now her permanent space because she told me it was going to be permanent. So I didn't know why I bought them, and that's just the way it came out. I have a ceramic cat that is on Freya's altar that was my mother's, that I've had for a very, very long time, and I'd always left that cat out. I never packed it away, and I never knew why, but it was always out. So when I thought to do her altar, that was one of the first things that actually went on it, because Freya is associated with cats. So they will definitely tell you what they want in their space. So offerings are also very personal and can be anywhere from food, herbs, blood, drawings, songs, art, community service, or working in an animal shelter. Most deities are associated with animals, so doing something to take care of an animal can really help you strengthen your relationship. Hecate is associated with dogs, and Freya is associated with cats. So going to a local animal shelter and volunteering would be a really, really good way for me to show my respect and my worship towards those goddesses. Some people may take care of the crows or the deer. It really depends on your deity, and if you have a lot of animals coming to you anyway, you should be taking care of them because they have messages for you. So you should be doing that anyway. I find it's best to do the research on the mythology of the deity and also communicate with them as well. A lot of the really, really old school stuff, especially with Hecate, she's associated with a lot of poisonous stuff and a lot of stuff that is not pretty for offerings. And of course, times have changed. So you're not going to give those kind of offerings now unless you want to be arrested or poison yourself. So you got to come up with something that works for the both of you. And don't always give offerings when you're going to ask for something, because I know for me personally, I'm given a lot more when I don't ask for something and when I don't ask for help. There's been a lot of lessons, especially recently, that I've been given, and I always just say thank you. You have to find a lesson in it and just say thank you. You can also say something as you give your offerings. I do monthly offerings, and I thank Hecate for all my blessings and also the lessons that she has taught me during that time, because she has been doing that a lot lately. And even though it's been a rough road, it's always see the bright side of things and always give thanks. My offerings, I try to kind of tailor, if I'm asking for something, to what I'm asking for. So if I have a problem with somebody, or if I feel like I'm in need of some protection or something, if I have a problem with somebody, I'm going to put honey in the offering because I'm asking to help somebody be sweeter to me. You can also do spell work for that too, but it's a little different. And also, or for protection, I use cinnamon is really, really big, is what I use for protection. I'll use whole cinnamon sticks and put them as part of the offering. You can also use your blood too, because it makes it really, really personal. And in my personal belief, it also kind of is like a beacon, like, hey, here I am, and I really, really, really need your help right now. And my blood, I'm not talking about opening up a vein. You can get those diabetes finger prickers and use that. I've done it before, and it worked very, very, very well. Also, something that I did not think about, that I was talking about this last night with a friend of mine, and this was kind of a direct quote. Something that you don't need because whatever it was that you had, because it worked out in your favor. So if there was something that you had or that you were holding on to that you no longer need because what you asked for happened and it worked out in your favor, you could give that as an offering. Now, I had made a joke about how I've been needing or using a lot of wine lately. So he had suggested like leaving the cork as an offering, which I'm not gonna do because it's not biodegradable, but it was a good idea. Or making a wine bottle into like a planter, which I thought was a really cool idea too. So make it unique, make it special, make it you and your offerings, and they don't have to be monetary things. They can be time. You can craft things. You can do things. One of the things that I do is my oracle readings is part of my offering. So if you have something like that, you can do that as well. Just make sure you find something that is doable for you and that is consistent, and to stick with it. Because, once you've made an agreement, it's really, really not a good idea to back out of it, because you will get a little bit of a punish. You'll get smacked. And excuses don't fly. They don't fly. And I actually haven't punished myself for trying to back out. I was not allowed to back out of an offering. And, it did definitely taught me a lesson that this is the agreement that you've made. So this is what you need to do. When I did my dedications to my goddesses, I made agreements with them, and I've stuck with them. So, I hope I have covered everything that I was meaning to cover. My mind kind of got away from me a little bit. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Any feedback is awesome. And I hope you have a great week. Have a good one.